Titus 1:12 through 14. One of them, one of them, one of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, "The Cretans are liars, evil beasts, lazy gluttons." So, because they were in their flesh, maybe this was something they were proud of as well. But this was their characteristic. Their own people saw this in them. When we're following the flesh, we're no better than this. But through Christ, we should resemble Him. So we shouldn't resemble this. And it's important, those who know us best, what do they really think about us? Verse 13. This testimony is true. Therefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in faith. So, two things here. It's teaching that if we have a brother who's doing wrong, we should show them correction out of love. It's also saying we should be careful those who we interact with, because they could negatively influence us. So we got to do both. We got to be the positive influence without letting them be a negative influence. Verse 14. Not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. So these Jewish fables, probably these scriptures that are out there that we know of now that aren't scriptural. And these Gnostics and all these tales that ain't in the Bible. Some interesting stories, maybe, perhaps, but no biblical scripture found on it. And because of that, where do we hold our light? Do we hold our light to things that may pique the interest because it's an interesting story, or do we hold our light to the Bible? Because it should be the Bible. There's a reason why them stories are interesting, because there's no spirit moving over them. So they had to pique interest to people, so they'd read it. And if you read some of them, it's so inventive that it wasn't something that most likely just happened, because ultimately it connects nothing to anything else in Scripture. There's reasons why it wasn't ever considered Scripture. We got some apocalyptic tales of how the world was going to end that just don't. Scripture contradicts, but people took them as popular because it was an interesting story. And this world may have interesting stories. Living in this world may seem more appeasing, but there comes a time that fades away, and you gotta stand on the truth. We gotta live by the truth, because that fleeting joy will eventually flee. Them interesting tales won't change life, but Scripture will.